Some people have learned exactly what it's like to be with their favorite rock star, and for a lucky few, an encounter at a concert or a meet and greet turned into a lasting relationship. At age 17, Bebe Buell graduated high school in Virginia and moved to New York City to be a model. That location allowed her to be closer to the rock and roll lifestyle she'd craved since she was a young child. As she recalled to Rolling Stone, "I was obsessed with Mick Jagger. I'd stand in front of the mirror and copy him." Buell got as close to the lifestyle as one could possibly get. In the same interview, she revealed that the first 4 men she ever went out on dates with were all rock stars: David Bowie, Iggy Pop, Jagger, and Todd Rundgren. It was the latter of whom she entered into a professional and eventually romantic relationship with. While she was still seeing Rundgren, Buell met and befriended Aerosmith singer Steven Tyler. One night in 1976, when Rundgren was on tour and Buell was staying at the New York home of rock star Rick Derringer and his wife Liz, Tyler called Buell to pick him up because he was too drunk to walk. Buell recalled, "I threw Steven over my shoulder and took him to Liz's and we threw him in the bathtub." When Tyler awoke, he and Buell hooked up, and 9 months later, Buell gave birth to a daughter, future model and movie star Liv Tyler. She was raised believing that Rundgren, her mother's partner, was her father. Buell also revealed, "It wasn't until August 1988 when she turned 11 that she put it together and confronted me."
Well, not being the daughter of my parents, I wasn't ever
There was not a lot of chill.
It wasn't normal, but yeah.
It was hard to escape the White Stripes in the early to mid-2000s. The hybrid of blues and punk from singer-songwriter-guitarist Jack White and drummer Meg White was all over the airwaves in 2003 after the release of their 4th LP, Elephant, and its hit track, Seven Nation Army. It was around that time that 13-year-old Michigan resident Olivia Jean Markle started a blog to gush about her favorite bands. That included the White Stripes, who also hailed from the city of Detroit. Markle called the site Olivia's Peppermint Palace, as a reference to the White Stripes' candy cane-colored aesthetic. She wrote in 2003, "I love the White Stripes. I love their music and I love Jack and Meg. I knew who they were before they got big, so don't say you love them unless you have listened to all of their albums." Before long, Markle started recording demos under the name Olivia Jean. In 2009, a friend tipped her off that Jack White's other band, The Dead Weather, would be playing an impromptu gig in Detroit that evening. She set out a trail of demo CDs from the stage door to White's tour bus. The plan to get White to notice her music worked. Weeks later, he called Markle and invited her to professionally record her songs at his studio in Nashville. Their professional relationship turned into a romantic one, as Jack White and Olivia Jean got married on stage in the middle of a concert in April 2022. The Cavern Club, a basement hall in Liverpool, started showcasing rock acts in 1960. In 1961, an early formation of the Beatles played its first gig there and would go on to enjoy a residence, performing nearly 300 times at the Cavern in a period lasting just over 2 years. Liverpool teenager Maureen Cox began to frequent Beatles shows at the Cavern because she was fixated on the band's drummer, Ringo Starr. Cox knew Starr from his previous band, Rory Storm and the Hurricanes, because of a brief romance with that group's guitarist. Cox attended multiple Beatles gigs, and she was so committed to Starr that she had apparently committed his license plate number to memory. Naturally, the young girl accepted when Starr asked her to dance just after a performance. In 1965, well into the Beatlemania phenomenon, Starr and Cox got married. They divorced a decade later, in 1975, ending their 14-year relationship and 10-year marriage. Its members became teen pop sensations upon the debut of their 1997 hit Bop. But Hanson was also a real rock band consisting of 3 brothers: guitarist Isaac, lead singer and keyboard player Taylor, and drummer Zach. All 16 and under during the peak of their fame, the Hanson brothers got older and continued to pack venues into their adulthood in the 2000s.
You would get the predominantly female exuberance and screaming and so on.
That was when they all encountered their partners. Zach Hanson told Entertainment Weekly in 2007, "We met all our wives at concerts, believe it or not. We were in Atlanta, and my wife got invited by somebody who was working for us, and she brought Taylor's wife." Taylor elaborated, "Our wives are actually good friends. At the time, Zach was dating somebody else, so they didn't get together right away, but my wife and I started dating." Taylor married Natalie Bryant in 2002, and Zach married Kate Tucker several years afterwards. As for Isaac, he also met his future wife, Nikki Dufresne, at one of the band's concerts. He revealed, "I thought she had a really cute smile. I just noticed her. She was about 5 rows from the stage. After the concert, Isaac enlisted the band's stage manager to get the stranger's attention so he could talk to her. Winning American Idol in its early seasons in the 2000s could propel a singer to virtually overnight stardom. That was the case for Ruben Studdard, an R&B crooner who won the Fox reality competition series in 2003 over Clay Aiken. Fans' votes determined Studdard's victory, so when he promoted his album's releases, he went directly to the people. In 2006, Studdard's promotional tour took him to an Atlanta Walmart, where he met with fans and signed CD copies of his latest release, The Return. Zuri McCants, admittedly a minor fan of Studdard, attended the event, securing an autographed disc for a mega fan friend stuck at work. Studdard told Essence, "When I saw her, I just thought she was beautiful. She told me about how much her friend loved me, and I was like, well, what about you? She was like, well, you're all right." After McCants departed with her signed CD, Studdard sent an associate to track her down inside the Walmart to get her contact information. The couple ended up marrying in 2008, and they divorced in 2012. Aspiring pop singer Liam Payne tried out for the British televised singing competition The X Factor in 2008, and was ultimately eliminated late in the contest. In 2010, he returned to the show, where producer Simon Cowell grouped him with 4 other young singers to create the boy band and pop cultural phenomenon One Direction. During its 2010s reign as one of the biggest musical acts on the planet, One Direction sat for meet and greets with its most passionate fans. During one such session of photo taking and autograph signing held in connection with a concert tour stop in Buffalo in 2015, Payne briefly chatted up and took a picture with 15-year-old fan Maya Henry. 3 years later, Henry was an Instagram influencer and model with more than 700,000 followers. That was when she and Payne connected for a second time, seemingly at a Dolce & Gabbana event in Italy.
We've seen you've got a beautiful new girlfriend.
I'm fairly happy at the moment.
Yeah!
The pair dated off and on for a few years and were even engaged at one point, until Payne ended the relationship. The radio-friendly soft rock of Train hit in a big way in the late 1990s and early 2000s. Fronted by singer-songwriter Pat Monahan, the group got a lot of attention for singles like Meet Virginia, Drops of Jupiter, and Calling All Angels. In 2004, Train embarked on a major concert tour that included a show in Seattle. While Monahan sang from the stage, a paying audience member caught his eye. He asked a member of his crew to locate the woman and invite her to meet Monahan in his dressing room at the concert's end. The woman's name was Amber Peterson, and the two hit it off, struck up a romance, and later got married. The meeting went on to inspire lyrics in the Train song This'll Be My Year that go, 2004 began in May on tour when I met ya. On May 14, 2014, Monahan tweeted via the Train account, I met my wife 10 years ago today. She's the reason for all of the positive change in my life. Green Day released its first full-length album, 39 Smooth, on the independent punk label Lookout Records in 1990. Already popular on the San Francisco Bay Area's emergent underground punk scene, Green Day's ambitions inspired a national tour, and the band's packed van took the musicians to a show at the Varsity Theater in Minneapolis on July 5, 1990. The crowd turnout was low that night, allowing for the members of the band to both see and talk to the fans that actually did show up. One early Green Day fan in attendance was 22-year-old University of Minnesota sociology student Adrienne Nesser. Both the Green Day singer, 18-year-old Billie Joe Armstrong, and Nesser were in relationships. So they built an easy friendship that developed into something deeper over the next few days. Green Day's tour manager had slotted them for another Minneapolis gig, so the pair got to hang out plenty. Nesser gave Armstrong her phone number, and he called her from every subsequent stop on the tour. In July 1994, Nesser and Armstrong got married, and they've stuck together ever since. One of the first mainstream popularizers of electronic music, Gary Numan, whose real name is Gary Webb, is best known for his 1979 debut single, Cars. Numan also fronted the group Tubeway Army, and it's in that iteration that 11-year-old Gemma O'Neill first noticed the British musician. As she later told The Independent, my big brother Shane was always buying albums. One day, I went past his bedroom and saw the back cover of Gary's first Tubeway Army album. I thought, I like the look of that bloke. So I took the album, started playing it, and I was hooked. O'Neill characterized her feelings toward Numan as a schoolgirl crush, and it continued when she met the musician for the first time at the age of 12. At age 14, O'Neill told a teacher during a careers lecture that her only major future plan was to be Gary Numan's wife. O'Neill would then go out of her way to bump into Numan at events and conventions. After O'Neill's mother died in 1992, she stopped going out, and Numan's fan club manager, his mother, noticed. She told her son, who asked the grieving young woman out on a friendly date.
It was Gemma's mum being ill that made me notice she hadn't been around as much.
After nearly a year of being close friends, they became romantic. The pair moved in together in 1994 and married in 1997. Bare Naked Ladies, known for their quirky alternative rock songs like Brian Wilson, 1 Week, and Pinch Me, formed in Toronto in the late 80s. Founding member Stephen Page left the band in 2009, following a period of creative unhappiness and a drug-related arrest. Before his departure, Page participated in a Bare Naked Ladies cruise, where it became public knowledge that he and Carolyn Ricketts, the mother of their 3 children, had split up and initiated a divorce in 2007. Page then headed into a relationship with a woman called Christine Benedicto, whom the rock musician met on the then-popular social media site MySpace, and who ended up getting arrested alongside Page on the drug charge. Benedicto, who also uses the name Christine Munn, wrote on her blog that she and Page first connected as strangers online in December 2006, while he was still married. She wrote, "This amazing thing happened. I met Stephen Page, one of my favorite musicians, a musician I had loved for 9 years, loved in the way that anyone loves any musician that makes them feel something or think about something." Page and Munn married in July 2011.